There's a thought that's been haunting me all day: escape from irreality. Now, you might think this is going to be another video about leaving social media, quitting YouTube, or giving up gaming, but it's not. This is about something much deeper. Something that's been slowly crushing us while we weren't paying attention. This morning I woke up, shocked my system with a shot of coffee, and sat down at my computer to pretend like I was working. But here's the thing, I wasn't really working. I was just going through the motions, trapped in a reality that doesn't feel real anymore. Last night, I felt like someone was sitting on my chest when I thought about my work. And the crazy part, I shouldn't have any problems with my job. Right now, it's not even that difficult. It's mostly software development mixed with a decent amount of DevOps. Because honestly, I got tired of seeing my colleagues have absolutely no idea how to start their development environments, let alone actually work on them. We in IT love challenges. We love solving problems. That's essentially what makes this field attractive. Well, that and the money, although that doesn't really motivate me anymore. I know exactly how much I need. Nothing more, nothing less. So what's the problem here? Just sit quietly, do your tasks, and collect your paycheck, right? Wrong. The problem is that this doesn't bring me one bit closer to my goals. In fact, it makes them seem increasingly distant. I'll never reach them. There will always be another pointless ticket. There will always be another useless meeting. And next month the bills will come again, forcing me to stay trapped in this hell for another 30 days. But I think it's becoming more and more obvious that I'm not attached to anything here. I love my team, but people are drifting away. I feel like I'm stuck on a sinking ship, and soon they'll realize I'm the next weight that can be thrown overboard. And honestly, I wouldn't even mind that much anymore. But where's the lifeboat? That was the crushing feeling. That was what made me think. Something has changed while we weren't paying attention. The digital world promised us enormous opportunities, and we believed it. Anyone can become someone. You just need hard work and a good idea, and the world is yours. But do we need this world? What do we actually want to achieve in this world? I want a house with a garden near the water. I want to spend more time with my loved ones. That's my goal, at least. I've been thinking about this for almost 20 years now, and here I am, sitting in a 12-square-meter office/studio room, staring at one of my 3 monitors, fully aware that since COVID, the digital world hasn't opened up at all. It's closed in, just like we've been closed within these 4 walls. I come from a family involved in agriculture. I'm the black sheep, the first computer person, the first intellectual. You know what this situation reminded me of? When we raised pigs for slaughter. 5 or 6 of them were crammed together in a few square meters, and they had nothing to do except eat, stare at the yard, sleep, and wait for the next day to come. But one of those days was a surprise, just not the good kind. This is the irreality we live in today. Where are the opportunities? Where are the childhood dreams? Where is the deserved reward? At least until now, there was some escape. We could enjoy and admire other people's work. Hey, I'm a gamer, I love games. But unfortunately, in recent years, I haven't really been able to indulge in this hobby. So I thought, let me pick up this thread again. I'll start streaming and gaming. Something will come of it, right? But what's missing? Oh, maybe a gaming PC? No problem. I'll build a new system from my stream income and my saved salary. But then the graphics card prices went through the roof. Let's wait a bit. It'll be better next month. But a new game comes out with even higher requirements. Okay, let's wait a little longer. And then the crash hit. RAM prices went up, SSD prices went up, and I could go on. And here I am, stuck with a mini PC that I originally intended to be a headless build host. Not for gaming, although I was surprised that it's actually capable of running quite a few things. So what if I brought back some of my old childhood favorite games? And luckily they run. And what surprised me was that I enjoy them much more than what I see nowadays. There's no time-wasting activity. Collect 99 red points to get 1 blue. 99 blue points to get 1 red. These games were crafted by hand, not generated, and the content in them is actual content, not DLC. And I realized that was the reality. When we worked to create a better future, something our children could grow up in, what we have now is something else, something unreal, something that needs to change. But we need an alternative reality where we can imagine it. Let me take you deeper into this thought. Because what I'm talking about isn't just about my personal frustration with a job or an unfulfilled gaming hobby. This is about an entire generation that was sold a dream and woke up in a cage. We were told that the internet would democratize everything, that technology would set us free, that remote work would give us flexibility and freedom, that anyone with a laptop and an internet connection could build their empire from anywhere in the world. And you know what? Some of that was true. For about 5 minutes. Then the algorithms took over. Then the corporations figured out how to monetize every second of our attention. Then the platforms that promised connection started optimizing for addiction instead. Then the job that was supposed to give us freedom became a chain that follows us everywhere, because now there's no separation between work and life. The office isn't a place anymore, it's a state of mind, and we can never leave. Think about it. We built this matrix ourselves. We walked into it willingly, excited even. We thought we were pioneers, early adopters, visionaries. We were going to ride the wave of the future. But somewhere along the way, the wave became a tsunami. And instead of riding it, we're drowning in it. Every app is designed to keep you scrolling. Every platform is optimized to keep you engaged. Every service wants your subscription. Every company wants your data. Every algorithm wants to know you better than you know yourself, so it can sell you things you don't need with money you don't have to impress people you don't like. And work has become this strange performance where we're all pretending to be productive while actually just attending meetings about meetings, writing emails that could have been Slack messages, and sending Slack messages that could have been emails, all while our actual creative output gets squeezed into the margins of our day. Let me go back to that pig farming metaphor, because I think it's more relevant than you might realize. In agriculture, you know exactly what you're doing. You're raising an animal for a purpose. It's not pretty, but it's honest. The pig doesn't know its fate, but the farmer does. There's no pretense, there's no illusion of upward mobility for the pig. But in our modern work culture, we're sold this idea that we're not the pigs, we're told we're the farmers, that if we just work hard enough, hustle enough, optimize enough, we'll break free, we'll make it, we'll be the success story. But look around. How many people do you know who actually made it? And I don't mean made enough money to survive. I mean actually achieved the freedom and fulfillment they were chasing. Most of us are just pigs in a slightly nicer pen with a screen instead of a mud pit, convincing ourselves that this is different, that this is progress. COVID should have been our wake-up call. When the world shut down and we all went remote, we thought this was it. This was the moment. The great reshuffling. The opportunity to redesign our lives. And for about 6 months it kind of was. People moved. People reconsidered. People started asking what really matters. But then what happened? The same systems reasserted themselves. The same hierarchies rebuilt themselves. The same expectations returned. Except now everything was worse. Because there was no escape. No commute to decompress. No office to leave behind. No physical separation between you and your work. Work became ambient. Always there. Always accessible. Always demanding. And the opportunities we thought would come, the democratization, the flexibility, it became clear that those were only available to people who already had resources. If you had savings, you could take risks. If you had connections, you could pivot. If you had skills that were in demand, you could negotiate. But for most of us, we just got smaller boxes and bigger screens. Now I know what you're thinking. This guy is just being nostalgic. He wants to go back to the good old days, he wants to play old games and pretend that the past was better. And maybe there's some truth to that. But here's the thing about nostalgia. It's not about wanting to go back. It's about recognizing what we've lost and asking whether we had to lose it. When I play those old games, it's not because the graphics are better. They're not. It's not because the gameplay is more sophisticated. It's not. It's because they were made by people who cared about making something good, something complete, something that respected your time. They weren't trying to hook you into a dopamine loop. They weren't trying to sell you season passes and battle passes and loot boxes. They weren't trying to keep you playing forever. They were trying to give you an experience, a beginning, a middle, and an end. And when you finished, you felt satisfied. Not because the game tricked you into feeling satisfied, but because you actually accomplished something. So let's do a reality check. What is real? What is irreality? Real is work that creates something meaningful. Irreality is busy work that creates the illusion of productivity. Real is connection with people you care about. Irreality is curating your online presence to impress strangers. Real is pursuing goals that align with your values. Irreality is chasing metrics that someone else defined for you. Real is rest when you're tired. Irreality is grinding because you're afraid of falling behind. Real is community. Irreality is a follower count. Real is creation. Irreality is consumption disguised as participation. We've been living in the irreality for so long that we've forgotten what the real feels like, and that's by design. Because the real is harder to monetize. The real doesn't scale. The real requires presence, attention, and intention, things that don't optimize well in a quarterly earnings report. So how do we escape? And I don't mean escape in the sense of running away. I mean escape in the sense of waking up, of seeing clearly, of choosing consciously. First, we need to name it. We need to recognize that the system we're in is not natural. It's not inevitable. It was designed, and it was designed to extract value from us, not to provide value to us. Second, we need to find the cracks, the places where the system doesn't reach, the moments that aren't optimized, the relationships that aren't transactional, the activities that don't produce content. Third, we need to build alternatives. Not grand, revolutionary alternatives, small ones, personal ones, a garden instead of a feed, a conversation instead of a thread, a walk instead of a scroll. Fourth, we need to remember what we're working toward. Not the promotion, not the follower count, not the next dopamine hit, the actual life we want to live. The house by the water, the time with loved ones, the freedom to pursue what matters. And finally, we need to accept that this might mean less. Less money, less status, less engagement, less optimization, but more of what actually matters. Here's the thing about alternative realities. They don't have to be digital. In fact, they probably shouldn't be. The best alternative reality might just be reality. Actual, physical, unoptimized reality. The kind where things break and weather changes and people are unpredictable and everything doesn't have a 5-star rating system. Maybe the game worlds that have more meaning than these 4 walls aren't the ones with better graphics. Maybe they're the ones that remind us what it feels like to be challenged without being exploited, to be engaged without being addicted, to accomplish something without generating data for someone else's algorithm. Maybe the escape from irreality isn't about finding a better virtual world. Maybe it's about reclaiming the real one. So here's my challenge to you and to myself. For the next week, notice the irreality. Notice when you're going through motions that don't connect to meaning. Notice when you're consuming content that doesn't nourish you. Notice when you're working on tasks that don't move you toward your actual goals. And then, just for a moment, stop. Ask yourself, what would the real version of this look like? What would I be doing if I wasn't trapped in someone else's system? What would I create if I wasn't spending all my energy maintaining what already exists? You don't have to quit your job. You don't have to delete your accounts. You don't have to move to a cabin in the woods, although honestly, the cabin is starting to sound pretty good. You just have to see it. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. And once you can't unsee it, you can start making different choices, small ones at first, then bigger ones, then maybe eventually you build a life that feels real again. I'm still sitting in this 12 square meter room. I'm still staring at these monitors. I'm still dealing with the tickets and the meetings and the bills. But something has shifted. I can see the cage now. And once you can see the cage, you can start looking for the door. Maybe it's in an old game that reminds you what good design feels like. Maybe it's in a garden that needs tending. Maybe it's in a conversation with someone you love. Maybe it's in the work you do when no one's watching, tracking or monetizing. The opportunities are still there. The childhood dreams still exist. The deserved reward is still possible. We just have to stop looking for them in the places that promised them but never intended to deliver. The reality we were working toward, the one where we create something better for the next generation, that's still achievable, but not within the irreality, not within the system that profits from our perpetual dissatisfaction. We have to build it ourselves in the margins, in the cracks, in the moments between the meetings and the feeds and the endless scroll. So yeah, some game worlds have more meaning than these 4 walls. We just have to discover them. Or better yet, create them. Not as an escape from reality, but as an escape from reality, but as an escape from irreality. Back to what's real. Back to what matters. Back to the life we actually want to live. Thanks for watching. Now close this video and go do something real.